Good day, UMS12. We are already on our second week of creative writing, and this time we are going to talk about some major ingredients of imaginative writing, which is imagery. Imagery is one of the literary devices that we should master as writers for creative writing. When we say imagery, it uses descriptive language that can function as a way for the reader to better imagine the world of a specific piece of literature. Most of the time, imagery uses our physical senses. The first kind is what we call visual imagery, which appeals to the sense of sight. Here, a speaker or a narrator or the writer may describe what he or she sees, which includes colors, brightness, shapes, sizes, and patterns. Let's have an example by William Wordsworth, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Now in this poem, William Wordsworth wrote this poem as an inspiration by his walk with his sister. So the poet compares his lonely walking or his lonely wandering to the aimless flight of a cloud. So that's visual imagery. If you read the stanza, you're able to visualize what the speaker sees. The second kind is what we call auditory imagery, which appeals to the sense of our hearing or sense of sound. When writers use this, they include music and other pleasant sounds, harsh noises as well, or even silence. In order to reinforce auditory imagery in a certain literature, we may use onomatopoeia to recreate the auditory experience of our readers. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. The lines came a tapping, gently rapping, I muttered. These are phrases that will help the reader imagine what the speaker is hearing or listening to. The third one is what we call olfactory imagery, which appeals to our sense of odor or smell. When you use this in a particular poem or story, you are including pleasant fragrances or off-putting odors. Example, Rain in Summer by H.W. Longfellow. So for example, the phrase clover-scented, pale, and well-watered and smoking soil, that is, if the reader imagines that smell, he or she may be able to visualize or imagine the entire stanza using that. Another kind of imagery that appeals to our sense of taste is what we call gustatory imagery. Here, the writer incorporates different tastes that characters may experience in the text, which include sweetness, sourness, saltiness, savoriness, or spiciness. Example, this composed by Walt Whitman. The words herbs, roots, orchards, grain, these are words that may reinforce the sense of taste in the stanza so that the reader may imagine what compost is as written by the poet. Tactile imagery this time appeals to our sense of touch. It may include description from the characters or narrator about feelings on their body, which may include the feeling of temperatures, textures, and other physical sensations. Example, Porphyria's Lover by Robert Browning. Browning, or the poet, uses tactile imagery to illustrate the chill of a storm, the sensation when a door is close to it, and the fire's blaze coming from the furnace, so that the reader may imagine the warmth of the cottage illustrated in the stanza. So that is what we call tactile imagery, what we feel as a reader. Kinesthetic imagery. When we say kinesthetic imagery, this imagery appeals to our sense of movement, our sense of motion. So this may also include, for example, the sensation of speeding along in a vehicle, or a sudden jolt when you stop, or it may also apply to the movement of the phone's speaker or the objects around them. For example, Leda and the Swan by W.B. Yeats. If you are familiar with Greek mythology, Leda is the one also seized by god Zeus. So in this stanza, the words beating wings would describe the motion or the movement of birds. And that is what we call kinesthetic imagery.